quarter, I think, is going to be the last quarter where we see a relative weakness for Tesla.
It's left these people who were big fans of EVs suddenly, walking around with this rolling MAGA sign. And
you guys fair value at 210, so let's get it out of the way because you're going to get some hate from the Tesla squad when they watch this, Seth.
It's very difficult, certainly, to short a name. He is not trading on fundamentals. It's also hard to go long a name when it's all on promises.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market almost 1%, currently sitting at $354.40. There's been quite a bit of support around the $350 per share range. But as we continue to march toward 2025, year to date, Tesla seems to keep growing higher and higher. Ever since April of 2024, Tesla has been experiencing higher highs and higher lows. Something tells me that this trend, it's gonna happen for quite some time.
I gotta tell you, and be honest, this pretty much caught me by surprise given our past conversations. So lay out this bull case for me and why you see Tesla or the catalyst that you see ahead for Tesla stock.
We're always reevaluating, always looking at our assumptions. And you know what? The world did change. So this quarter, I think, is going to be the last quarter where we see a relative weakness for Tesla. I don't think the analyst pool listened all that carefully to the CFO's commentary around margins, his guidance around margins. We think that came from drop in battery prices that helped them last quarter. And now we have to factor in the election. So I think the pool of enthusiasts basically doubled. Right? I mean, you may have some extreme liberals that want to get rid of their Teslas, but I think a lot of people are looking at Tesla going, wow, Musk's a pretty cool guy. Let's go check this thing out. And I think you have a reacceleration of sales in North America. And I think you see Tesla's market share start to rise back above 50% pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Can't get enough of listening to Craig Irwin switch from bear to bull. But let's focus on the comment about a new set of buyers, along with some of the liberals that might be not so enthusiastic to purchase their next Tesla. This is absolutely ridiculous to me, but let me go ahead and play this clip to further accentuate my point.
It wasn't until 2 years ago that Elon started really embracing Trump. And during that time, it has just completely shifted what this brand means to consumers. And, it's left these people who were big fans of EVs suddenly, walking around with this rolling MAGA sign in their Teslas. So it's really changed how people think about the brand.
So are people selling now? Like people who thought, okay, he's green, he's a disruptor, he's liberal, right? He was kind of aligned with Biden, right? And Democrats.
Yeah.
And then are they now like...
He loves to talk about how he waited in line for hours to shake Obama's hand.
Right.
Yeah.
So have they now, are people selling or buying based on all of this?
We found people on both sides of this. Yeah. So we found, people who were really liberal, voted for Harris, loved EVs for a long time, and now they're like, I can't drive this Tesla anymore. This is a sign of, the Republicans and all of this that I don't believe in. And then on the flip side, you have people like this man I talked to in Utah who, for years was like, I don't want to have an EV.
This is Chaz Tucker?
Chaz Tucker. He said, I don't want to, it stands for this environmentalist stuff.
Yeah.
It stands for all of these values that I don't believe in. Then suddenly Elon embraces Trump.
Laughing so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in America, we are all on the same team. I'm from Southeast Texas. I have Republicans to my left and right of me. I may be a Democrat, but I don't vote straight Democrat when I'm at the polls. I try to find out as much as I can about the individual that I'm choosing to represent me in certain situations. And regardless of the R, D, or whatever the hell is next to their name, I'm voting for the individual that best represents my needs and interests. I didn't vote for Trump, but I'll be damned if I have to trade in my car because I'm not aligned with the CEO's values. In my case, this is about a $40,000 plus purchase, and I'm not making it because I think it's going to be a banner for the MAGA community. I could give a what anybody else thinks about when I'm driving the safest vehicle on the planet. I want my family and I to be able to walk away from a potential crash site. And there is no better vehicle to be inside than a motherfucking Tesla. The performance of the vehicle, the functionality, I'm not buying another vehicle that doesn't have FSD. These things cost way too much for me to settle for less. And Elon Musk could be representing little green men from Mars to run for president, and I ain't going nowhere until I get a better product from anybody else. This makes me want a horse laugh.
You know, there's an abundant list of catalysts on the positive side. On the negative side, there's really not much. You know, the only thing you can do is point to the relative valuation versus the rest of the automotive industry, and that doesn't give them credit for what they're doing on AI and robotics and obviously FSD and the cyber taxi or ADAS. So, you know, when we step back and reassess, you know, the catalysts are there for this to continue probably for the next couple years. And, you know, that means the right rating here is buy.
Okay, so Tesla's on this big run. We're just below the highs we put in at 362. You guys fair value at 210. So let's get it out of the way because you're going to get some hate from the Tesla squad when they watch this, Seth. How come the price target's still so far behind this move?
I like Seth Goldstein. Typically, he's about right there in the middle of where most Tesla analysts are. Very bullish, but wants to maintain some practicality, which is not bad for an analyst, but probably will miss a lot of the value that is within Tesla. There will come a point in time where Seth Goldstein has one of those Craig Irwin moments and vaults his price target up. My guess is that'll occur when FSD becomes unsupervised in some capacity.
We think the market's gotten a little too enthusiastic about two key factors. First, the new delivery that is set to launch next year in extra production, Elon Musk guided to 20 to 30%. We don't think Tesla's likely to hit that number. We think, like with all of Tesla's historical new vehicles, they're likely to see a slower initial growth, and we think the market is pricing in a faster growth rate for deliveries next year. We don't think they're likely to hit that guidance. And second, we think there's a lot of enthusiasm for the full self-driving and eventual robo-taxi product that Tesla wants to launch. But even if a Trump administration removes all federal regulatory barriers to autonomous driving approval, we still think the software is not likely to be ready along with management's timeline that they laid out for 2026, the Cybercab entering production. And I think the market's just gotten a little too enthusiastic about both of those affecting near-term revenue and profits. And we think deliveries growth and full self-driving and robotaxis will be later and slower than the current share price implies.
Well, I was half right. They don't believe that the delivery growth will resume in 2025. These Q4 results might have them rethinking that. Alongside the rapid growth of FSD, it's true, we are currently in a supervised nature for the software. But I'm inclined to believe that an unsupervised version of this software is going to happen faster than many of us expect. In my humble opinion, this time next year, we're going to be seeing some unsupervised drives in California and Texas. Not to mention Elon Musk's expectation for 20 to 30% growth with vehicle deliveries. Yeah, I fully expect our friend Seth Goldstein over there at Morningstar will have doubled their fair value estimate this time next year.
All right, so valuation-wise, what do you think makes sense versus the earnings component of this? It still seems like most analysts expect fairly meager profit improvements, but they do expect improvements. So how does that trade-off look to the actual valuation? What's the math behind the 210?
Yeah, so I'm forecasting that we see still good deliveries growth. I'm still forecasting a little under 5 million deliveries by 2030.
5 million by 2030. Keep a note of that, folks. I know I will.
And I'm forecasting automotive gross profit margins get back to 20%. That's well below the high water mark of 29% in 2021 and 2022, but still a very good number and what Tesla aims to achieve for any of their segments. Then I'm assuming a mid-30s annual percentage growth rate in the energy generation and storage business, which I think will be Tesla's fastest growing business for the coming decade. And so I'm still forecasting a lot of growth for Tesla, but just not as high of FSD the adoption, and I'm not forecasting as much of a valuation for the robo-taxi business, where I think is my disconnect versus the current market price.
Thanks for going through all the points with us. China, the month-over-month improvement, is there possible green shoots, ace up the sleeve for recovery there?
I think so. I think we're likely to see Tesla still grow. They aim to launch the full self-driving supervised software in China at some point in 2025. But once that gets approved, if it is one of the best level 2 technologies in the market, I think that a lot of consumers would opt to choose a Tesla for the more premium priced vehicles versus the other EV competitors. And so that could give Tesla a leg up and reaccelerate growth in that market.
All right. I feel like I've said something along these lines before, but I feel like it's the most positive case for a 40% pullback I've ever heard.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk losing his bid to have his $56 billion pay package reinstated. A Delaware judge upholding an earlier ruling in a case brought forth by Tesla shareholders, some of them who accused the pay package approval from 2018 of being, quote, deeply flawed, unquote, in a process.
John, I'm so glad that you're coming to me on this one and not Kelly, because last time I was on, I said sell it, and the thing's continued to go straight up. And listen, as an investment, Tesla makes no sense. $1 trillion market cap. They make 1.8 million cars. Ford, GM, and Stellantis make 15 million cars, and this trades at 4 times the valuation, 4 times the capitalization. It's a $1 trillion company. What are they going to do to grow earnings? This thing is overvalued by any measure. It's a hope and a prayer company. If you want to trade it and think you can get in and out, Bitcoin feels the same way to me, because I don't know that there's any there underneath.
When are they going to learn, ladies and gents? This is not your daddy's automobile company. They not like us. They not like us. While many of the Wall Street analysts are going to be focused on how many cars that Tesla sells, what are the margins on those vehicles, Tesla is moving on an accelerated path not to see how many cars they can sell, but see how many miles they can sell to individuals. Without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to sell plenty of cars in the years to come. But the moment you can create a revenue stream that generates money per mile driven, no matter how many vehicles the legacy auto manufacturers sell, and that number is dwindling, they won't be able to hold a candle to how much money Tesla will be making from their cybercabs and robo-taxi services. You know what I say? If they sleep, let them sleep.
The rally taking a breather today, shares down 1.5% after new data showed deliveries from its Shanghai factory fell for the second month in a row.
Real quick, I think it's interesting what the media tends to glob onto with the numbers that come out of China. There are basically 2 sets of numbers. One is the shipments coming out of Shanghai, and then you talk about local deliveries. These numbers will fluctuate as Tesla has to kind of move around their order flow. Shipping vehicles out of Shanghai to various corners of the world, that is an intricate process. But they want to focus on shipments all of a sudden because that number is lower month over month. But coincidentally, wants to gloss over the local deliveries of the Shanghai plant. Now, they're not wrong. They're not lying to you, but they are choosing to tell you what you should and should not be hearing.
Yet our guest trader tonight, Danny Moses, who's been short Tesla at various times since 2016, isn't betting against it right now. And for the viewer, you're constantly trading, so keep us updated on where you are.
Listen, I first got into the trade after the Solar City deal was done in kind of late 2016 into 2017, thinking that, wow, it was an awful deal. I'm going to get into the stock now short, off and on for the last few years. The first quarter this year, when they reported,
who was the CEO of Solar City at the time?
His cousin.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. We won't go to. He won that court case also.
Okay.
Right. So fast forward to the first quarter this year. It had just started to trade on fundamentals for the first time in a long time. It was hanging around $140, $150. Right.
Did you pick up any shares around that time frame? April 2024? 140 would have been a real good time to buy. Instead, some people were still shorting. Odd.
The quarter was bad, right? What happened? promise of autonomous day in August, which ended up getting pushed out to October. Flies to China to get some regulatory relief on certain things. And lo and behold, attaches himself to Trump to make all the other stuff go away. When the story moves from non-fundamental to technical and those nature, that's when I leave a story. And we talk about it on the podcast a lot, giving updates there. But to people that are listening now, it's very difficult, certainly to short a name that is not trading on fundamentals. It's also hard to go long a name when it's all on promises.
Maybe for you. It's not hard for me. Regardless of the promises that Elon Musk will make, won't make, I'm surrounded by the products that Tesla has built. The cars in the garage. Next to those cars are power walls. On the roof are solar panels. Oh yeah, did I mention the car in the garage is insured by Tesla? They are the energy company that supplements my power from the sun. My usage of these products are examples of promises fulfilled. It's this track record, along with me monitoring FSD for almost 2 years now, is what gives me confidence that this promise of a better future is a little bit closer than many people would like to believe.
This is interesting because it does go back to a trade, because you think about who this alienates in terms of Tesla buyers, right? And so for everybody who loves where Elon Musk stands, there's probably somebody else who doesn't. It's on the opposite side.
It's, that might be true for like a Coca-Cola, or when you talk about brands that have alienated. I'm not certain that holds water in terms of Tesla and their base. Maybe I'm 100% wrong, and quite frankly, I don't even know if it's about auto sales anymore. Anyway, so I get what you're saying, but I don't think that moves the needle.
Ding, 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 ding! Tell him what he's won, Johnny! Your mother. Right. There will be some loud, virtue-signaling liberals that are like, no, I can't do the Tesla thing anymore. And more power to them. That is their prerogative. Me personally, I'm not giving up the greatest luxury item I've ever driven in. And don't get it twisted, folks. Technology is the best luxury. I'm not purchasing another vehicle that does not have full self-driving on it. It's just not gonna happen. I care about my friends and family a little too much to be that selfish. In conclusion, the lack of understanding for Tesla the company is expounded exponentially when it comes to TSLA. No one knows what the value of this company is. I just know it's going to be the most valuable company in about a decade's time. Vehicles, energy storage, autonomy, robots, whatever industry Elon Musk plans to enter, you can guarantee he's gonna try to set the standard for that particular industry. Ride hail and robotics will be no different. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.